Hello. So, this video is going to be about one of my favorites, if not my ultimate favorite, TV show. Genuinely, this show is my favorite, and I'm going to explain why. The show I'm talking about is Sense8. If you haven't heard of it, it's on Netflix. It's a show about these 8 people who live all around the world, and they're telepathically connected to each other, and they can help each other out, share their skills with the others, and it's just a great show. It's really, really good. So the first reason that I love the show is the characters. They're all very well developed. They're all very interesting. And now I have to start with the 8 main characters. So that's Riley, Will, Wolfgang, Nomi, Kala, Lido, Sun, and Capheus. So first of all, Riley. She was my favorite character in season 1. In season 2, she kind of became a teensy bit boring, but I still loved her. And she is from Iceland. She's a DJ, a really good one. And I'm not going to get too into any of the characters because I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't seen the show. But Riley is a very sensitive and caring and strong character. She's been through a lot, and she somehow manages to deal with it and to help her cluster as well. That's what they're all called, all the Sense8s, a cluster. And then Will is a cop from Chicago. He's very brave, very loyal to the people he cares about. He does everything he can to help the cluster, especially Riley, because they end up falling in love. Somewhat of a spoiler, but not really, because you kind of see it in the trailers and stuff for season 1, I think. Wolfgang. Now, Wolfgang is from Germany, and he doesn't really have a job. He's kind of a criminal in season 1. I didn't like him right away. He took a little bit of warming up too, but eventually I loved him just like the rest of the cluster. And he's very morally ambiguous, but he's also very loyal to those he cares about, and he does everything he can to help his cluster. So that's kind of a common theme between the characters, and you'll see why later on when they get into the messages of the show. Next character is Nomi, and she is an awesome hacker, activist. I think she does it like professionally somehow. I think she like tests companies' security or something. I forget her exact career because it's not really a main point of the show. And also, she is a trans character played by an actual trans actress, which is awesome. And she's also not straight. I'm not sure of her exact sexuality, but she's definitely in a relationship with a woman. And they're really cute together. Their ship name is Nomanita, because Nomi and Amanita. And they're really very good together. They make a great team, and they are always there for each other. Nomi is really, I'd say she's really wise. Like, she gives really good advice. I would definitely want to be her friend, because whenever she's, talking to other members of the cluster, she always gives them great advice. And there are so many powerful lines that she's said throughout the show, and it's amazing. Besides the fact that Nomi is LGBT representation, and she's a very wise character with amazing lines, she's also very loyal, she's very caring, and she's very strong. All of them are in their own ways. Now, the next character is Kala. She is a scientist. She lives in India. And she is really smart. And she's she's not a skeptic at all. She has faith in, in her religion and in her cluster, and she's pretty optimistic, which is a good thing, I think. And she helps all of them with her intelligence, and she may not, fight the way Wolfgang or Will or Sun do, but she always, if there's one of the cluster in trouble, she can always help get them out of it with her brain power. So that's really awesome. It's really nice to see a character, especially a female character, fighting with their intelligence rather than their, just physical abilities. Next is Lido. He is an actor from Mexico, and he's a closeted gay guy. Lido is, he's an actor, so he's very dramatic. But he's a good person. He's very nice, he's very caring, he's very loyal to the cluster and to all the people he cares about. And that's kind of a common theme throughout the characters as well. And again, you'll see why when I go into the messages of the show. The next character is Sun. Sun is, I don't remember her exact job, but she's in some kind of family business. She works with her father and her brother, and she also happens to like fighting like kind of martial arts, but and also like wrestling. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but she likes to fight, and that comes in handy sometimes when the cluster needs to escape danger. Because as I mentioned before, they can all use each other's skills. And Sun, you may expect her to be the one-dimensional badass character, but she really isn't. She has a good heart, and she's really a kind, caring, loyal, amazing person. She's not just this one-dimensional person. And finally, last but not least is Capheus. He is a bus driver in Kenya, I believe. Could be getting it wrong. And he is very optimistic. He's probably the most optimistic person in the entire cluster. Kala's pretty optimistic as well, but Capheus he's just the sunshine. He's really, really optimistic, and it's great. He's also very caring, and he stands up for what he believes in. Nomi does. And he's always there for the rest of the cluster. If they need any help, he's always going to help them. And that is pretty much a summary of the basic plot and the characters. Now, let's go into why I love this show so much. So, as I mentioned, the characters are very well developed, and they're all different. They're all distinct, but they all have common things uniting them, and I think that's just beautiful. Like, that is friendship goals, relationship goals, just life goals, in my opinion. Because it's always nice to be around people who understand you and who won't judge you and will, always be there for you. I think that's what the show really promotes. Now, the second thing that I love is the plot. I won't get too into it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen the show. However, the plot is very exciting. The Centates are regularly kind of fighting for their lives, either because of something in their life that just happens and they need to get some help from their cluster, or because of this group that's kind of hunting them and trying to kill them. And that group is trying to kill them because they're Centates. Now, finally, we get into the messages of the show, or what I personally feel the show gets across. The first one is that we're stronger together. That if anyone is fighting any kind of a battle, whether it's an internal one or an external one, they need help. And, if we all band together and we all help each other, the world will be a better place. And I truly believe that. Like, I may sound a bit, too optimistic believing that, but I truly believe that if we all work together, we can make this world a better place. The next message of the show is that love conquers all. And in this case, I'm not just talking about romantic love. I'm talking about platonic, familial, any kind of love you can think of. Love always wins out over hatred and bigotry. And that is a message that I really need right now. I don't know about you. And the final message of the show is that there is more that unites us than divides us. Like I said, all the characters have certain things in common, and despite the fact that they're all, from different places, all around the world, different careers, different lives, they are able to unite and to work together. And that just shows that that's how we should all be, because there's a lot more that unites us as human beings than the things that divide us. And it's hard to really live by that sometimes, especially when, there are certain cases where people are just being really prejudiced, and that's never okay. I think that's another message of the show, is that prejudice and bigotry, are never okay. You should not stand for that, and you should call that out when you see it and fight against it as much as you can. So that's really all I had to say. If you haven't already, I definitely, 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 I want to emphasize this. I recommend that you check out Sense8. S. Sense, and then an 8 at the end. It's on Netflix, and it's really awesome, and it honestly changed my life. Like, I don't think I would be the same person without that show. It really changed my life. It made me, it kind of teaches you a lot of lessons throughout the show. And they're things you kind of know, but you forget them. And then when you hear them in the show, like, wow. Wow. That's another thing I like about the show. There's a lot of quotes, a lot of lines that are very powerful and poignant and just beautiful. So definitely check out Sense8 if you haven't already. And thank you for watching. Stay magical. I will see you in my next video. Bye!